All right. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. We welcome you guys. All right. We got about 13 people popping in so far. So welcome to our middle school workshop, guys. Thank you for coming. We're going to get started shortly. We see some people are registering at the last minute, which is always great. So I'm going to go ahead and start adding some more people in here. Awesome. All right. Thank you guys for coming. We're going to get started in about 5 minutes. 5 minutes, we're going to get started. We have a nice presentation scheduled for you guys. All right. And Miss Garcia, if you can check your email, you have an email from Leo. He's going to let you into the group with us. So Miss Edith, if you can just check your email. All right.
Okay.
She's been promoted to panelist.
All right.
No need to check the email.
Thank you. All right, guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to get started with our panel discussion in a few minutes. And we have a nice Q&A box down at the bottom of your screen. And so if you have any questions at all, you can drop your questions at the bottom of the screen. And we also have Miss Edith Garcia here, and she is going to be assisting with any translation in the chat. So Miss Garcia, you can make your announcement. We'll make it a couple of times. You can unmute yourself.
Sorry. So do you want me to tell the parents to?
Yeah, we're being recorded right now, so just let everybody know that you're available for translation in the chat.
Okay. Buenas noches a todos. Muchas gracias por asistir a la junta que tenemos, a la presentación que Miss Mitchell está haciendo en este momento. Para todos aquellos papás que hablen español y tengan preguntas al respecto, por favor usen el chat que tenemos para poder poner sus preguntas, sus dudas. Y bueno, ya con apoyo y ayuda de Miss Mitchell vamos a responder sus preguntas lo mejor posible.
All right, thank you. So we'll get started shortly. We have about 2 more minutes before we get started. And we just like to thank all of these brave and wonderful seniors to come in and give you guys some of the best advice that they're going to give you. All right. And so again, if you guys just joined us, there is a Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. And so if you have any questions at all, you can put that in the screen, and actually towards the end, we'll also do a huge question and answer session. So if you have any questions and you want to unmute yourself, you can actually raise your hand and we can unmute you. All right. All right, I'll be right back. All right, thank you guys for joining us. We're gonna get started in a few minutes. Thank you for coming to our middle school presentation here tonight. We have a whole host of students here from the high school that are excited to speak with you guys and share their experiences at the high and also some things about middle school. So we'll get started in a second. All right, we still got some more people signing up. So let me drop them in the chat here. All right, if you just joined us, thank you so much. We're going to get started in about 1 minute because people are now starting to come in. We're going to get started. All right. So our goal tonight is to have more guests than we have panelists. So right now it looks like we're at 13 and 13. This is beautiful. That is the goal, to have over 13. Oh, okay, now we have more attendees than we have panelists. That is great. All right, well, guess what? We're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and get started. All right. Thank you guys so much for coming to our middle school students. It's time to get ready for NAHS panel presentation. And so we have an all-star cast, as you see on the screen, of students from Norristown Area High School. If you notice, they have their nice graduation attire on because they are ready to go. And so they are going to be our experts for tonight, and we will introduce them a little bit later. We also have Miss Edith Garcia here, who is going to also translate for any Spanish-speaking families in the chat. And so there's a little Q&A box. There is no chat box, but there is a Q&A box down at the bottom of the screen. So Miss Garcia, if you can go ahead and unmute yourself and just let them know what to do.
Bueno, se trata la presentación de lo siguiente, de hablarles un poco a los estudiantes de escuela secundaria que se van a graduar en este junio que viene, y bueno, van a entrar a la preparatoria y quisieran pues tener un conocimiento más amplio de cuáles son las expectativas, qué es lo que pueden esperar una vez que entren a la preparatoria, y sobre todo qué va a pasar en la preparatoria en cuanto a cuáles son las oportunidades que tienen. Por ejemplo, que tenemos la escuela técnica, que tenemos algunos programas dentro del currículum de la high school o la preparatoria, que ofrece varias oportunidades a los estudiantes, que entre las cuales ellos pueden escoger. Y bueno, así acercarse más o menos a lo que ellos quieren realizar una vez que se gradúen de la escuela preparatoria o bueno, la high school. Y bueno, para eso vamos a tener un número de estudiantes que conforman el panel y que van a dar cada uno información acerca de cuál ha sido su experiencia en la high school, qué ha sido lo positivo que ellos han logrado a través de estar en la preparatoria de Norristown. Y bueno, van a exponer toda esta información. Y bueno, si alguien tiene preguntas, si alguien tiene alguna inquietud en particular de alguna presentación de los estudiantes que están en nuestro panel, bueno, ya ustedes pueden usar el chat y formularme la pregunta. Y como ya dijo Miss Mitchell, al final vamos a tratar de contestar en lo mejor posible las preguntas, sobre todo de los papás que estén interesados en, bueno, apoyar a sus hijos una vez que salgan de la preparatoria, y bueno, que quieran tener una decisión de exactamente a qué colegio, a qué universidad quieren ir, y bueno, cuáles son las posibilidades, ¿no? En cuanto a la ayuda financiera que también se les puede dar. Y bueno, vamos a pasar entonces con Miss Mitchell. Can you please start the presentation?
Yes, I'm going to start the presentation. So again, if you have any questions, she will translate those things in the chat for you. So now we're going to go ahead and get ready. We want to thank you guys so much for coming to our presentation. So if you guys need to get in contact with the College and Career Center at Norristown Area High School, here are the links to our YouTube page, website, any appointments that you want to make, and our email address. And we also are on Instagram, so definitely you can follow us on Instagram at NAHS College and Career. And we have a link here at the bottom, Linktree, if you want to make a screenshot of that. That will allow you to be able to click into any activities that we have going on at the school that we are promoting. And so we also just want to talk to you about 2 quick programs that we're having, and you're more than welcome to attend. And so we have our first gen college workshop series. The last session, we've been having this since January, will pop up on next Tuesday, April the 27th at 6:30. And we're going to talk about the experience and expectation of being a college student. So again, this program is for parents and students that they are the first person in their family to graduate, and or it was 1,000 years ago that your parents went to college. All right. And then the next one, we always have our college application crash course for our rising juniors and seniors. So we have 3 sessions. The first session will start on Tuesday, May the 24th. And this will help our juniors get ready to prep for the summer for any college work they need to do. And then we'll have our next 2 sessions in the fall when we return to school. All right. And so again, if you have just come in, thank you guys so much for coming to our college middle school presentation. So when you guys have any questions at all, you can put them in the chat. No question is a stupid question. Feel free to put them in the Q&A box. If you need translation, you can put your questions in the Q&A box and Ms. Garcia will assist you. So before we get started, the main reason that we actually wanted to have this event, and I promise you this is the last slide, we're not going to do a PowerPoint presentation the entire night. We wanted to talk to you guys in middle school to help you get ready for high school. And so we know we have some 5th, 6th, and 7th graders on here as well, because we wanted you guys to get a great head start. A lot of people wait until 11th or 12th grade to get ready for college, but actually you're supposed to get started earlier than that. When you guys are in middle school, as you are, you just finished doing your scheduling for next year. Your teachers and your principals sat down and kind of had some conversations to see what kind of classes you should be in for the next year. So you want to ask your teachers and just check one more time just to make sure that you guys are in the most challenging classes. Because even though you have all A's in your classes, it might not mean that those are the most challenging classes for you. And your teachers might not know because you might not be working to your full potential. So you want to try to do as best as you can. And so the seniors are going to give you guys some great advice on that. So when you get to high school, if you're thinking about going to a 4-year college, let's just use that for an example. Colleges want to see that you have some advanced classes called honors classes or advanced placement classes on your schedule. Those classes will help your grades, help you get higher grades on your transcript. Okay. They're also going to look to see if you have extracurricular activities, which I see I forgot to put the hyphen there. And those are like sports, clubs. And so those are great opportunities for you guys to be involved in school. 1, so you can meet other people. 2, so you can learn through new things. And 3, so that you can learn how to manage your time and do your work. And lastly, you guys want to get some scholarships, obviously, if you are going to college. And in order for you to get the most options with scholarships, you have to have good grades. The colleges want to see those advanced courses on your transcript, which is a big report card that has all of your grades on it. And they're looking at extracurricular activities. So those are some of the key reasons we wanted to talk to you guys to get you thinking about that. So I'm done talking, and we are now going to introduce our panel. So I'm going to stop sharing here. And so we're going to have the students introduce themselves. And so we have a little list here. So we're going to start with Haja. And what they're going to do is give you their name, the school or program or activity that they will be doing after graduation, the most fun thing about high school, the middle school that they went to, and their best memory from middle school. So we will start with Haja.
Hi. My voice sounds off right now because I have a little cold, but anyways, yes, my name is Haja, like Miss Mitchell said earlier. I went to Eisenhower Middle School, the best one, and the next school that I'm going to, well, I hope to go to would be LaSalle right now. Secondly, I guess the most fun thing about high school currently would be the extracurriculars, I would say. More so because you get time to speak with your friends. And then I don't really have a best memory from middle school. They're all good, in my opinion.
My name is Beatrice. I went to East Norton Middle School. After high school, I'm going to be attending Princeton University. Um, I think that the most fun about high school, like Haja said, is definitely the extracurriculars. Just because you can, like she said, spend time with people who think like similarly to you, and there's also a lot of like different opportunities and trips that you can go to based on like what clubs you join. And then I think my best memory from middle school has to be our trip to New York.
We have Gabe next.
Oh, I forgot the order. My name is Gabe Irizarry. I'm a senior at Norristown, and I'm going to Penn State next year, and I'm majoring in engineering. To me, the best part about high school was probably the sports, because I played basketball. It was good people, great times, a lot of hard work though, and also probably like if you're in middle school right now, I would say go to like the homecomings and proms. Even though we didn't have a prom, but homecomings were pretty fun. Then the best part about middle school, I would say were either the sports or our trip to Washington D.C. That was pretty good.
Hi, my name is Yen, and I came from Stewart Middle School. After high school, I plan to go to the University of San Francisco, pretty far away. The best memory from high school, I guess, would say making friends. That's probably it.
Hi, my name is Jess. I came from East Norton Middle School, and next year I will either be attending Penn State University or University of Pittsburgh to major in psychology and possibly neuroscience. The most fun thing about high school for me is the extra independence that you get from like it was more dependent in middle school and it's more independent in high school, and just kind of the environment that you're in with events, Mr. Norristown. And then my best memory from middle school is probably also our trip to New York.
My name is Charles Wilfong. I attended Stewart Middle School, and I'm going to Westchester University, majoring in education and history. And my favorite high school memory or memories is getting to know my teachers over a long period of time and just building relationships with them, especially having the same teachers over a 4-year period. Those ones especially you get to build a really good relationship with. In middle school, my best memory is I got to meet one of the teachers who inspired me to become a teacher, and he really helped me out with a bunch of stuff.
What's up, guys? My name is Elijah Twyman. I attended all the middle schools, but I graduated from Stewart, which is by far the best, you know. I'll be attending LaSalle University to study psychology. And my most fun memory from high school, well, yeah. So the most fun thing about high school for me is definitely probably the sports, just getting like involved with the sports team and making new friends and everything. That's definitely by far the best. Like it's definitely the best experience. The best memory from middle school, I would say graduation, because graduation is just like you just looking around. It's like I'm probably never going to see you guys again. But no, it was just fun, just having memories about being with these guys for all these years, and then just graduating with them, crying and all that. But yeah, that's me.
Hi, my name's James, and I graduated from East Norton Middle School. Currently, I am enlisted in the Army National Guard, and I am undecided to which college I will be attending, but I have a sort of an idea. I went to major in computer science. I would say my favorite experience about high school would probably be, and I'm gonna probably put sports and extracurriculars in the same group, just because for me, that was the easiest way to make friends, especially like ROTC, robotics, stuff like that. You get to meet a bunch of people that you never would thought you would talk to. And middle school, I enjoyed a middle school a lot. I think a little bit more than most people. I think my favorite experience in middle school would probably be 8th grade. That was definitely my favorite year. Although it was very sad when I had to find out that I had to graduate because I enjoyed it so much. And yeah, that's me.
Hi, my name is Angelica. I went to Stewart Middle School and I will be attending Westchester University and I'm going for marketing. One of the best memories from high school would have to be participating in the Blue and White Society. I just really enjoyed planning our homecoming events, our pep rallies, and our after school activities. Um, my best memory from middle school would have to be our end of the year activities like our Washington trip and our like field days.
All right, so thank you guys. So you guys got a lot of interesting things. I heard that Washington trip pop up a lot of times. So hopefully maybe, even though I'm not at the middle school, maybe I can sneak on that Washington trip with somebody and see what that trip is all about. But you guys can hear from their comments that a lot of extracurricular activities going on and them meeting new people. And so again, if you just popped on, there is a Q&A box at the bottom, and so you can put your questions in there. And if you have your parents here that are Spanish speaking, Miss Edith Garcia is here, and she will answer those questions in the box for you. And so our goal tonight was to have more guests than we have panelists, since we have like 1,000 people on this panel. So we have achieved that goal, and people are still popping in. So now let's get to the real questions. All right. And so everybody on the panel can kind of pop in and answer this question. Can you guys talk about the biggest differences between high school and middle school? Anybody that wants to go first can. And everybody doesn't have to answer.
No more lines. You don't gotta stand in a line before you leave class and go to your next class. No more of that. You're free to walk around wherever you go, as long as you go to class, that is.
I would definitely say it's your free time. There's a big difference. After I'd come home from middle school, I would have like all the time in the world to do whatever I want. Now I'm kind of in high school. Yeah, you do get quite a bit more homework, and especially if you're a little bit more involved, that eats up your time as well, I'd say, but not in a bad way.
Yeah. So kind of leading on that, definitely the work is a big difference, because like especially if you're a student athlete, it's like it's like the work just gets more and more. Your teachers, like you're like, oh yeah, I got homework from this class, blah, blah, blah. You try to talk to them and it's like, no, you gotta do this work. And this is a lot of like the work is definitely is completely different. It's a completely different ballgame. So you definitely have to be on top of that.
I would say that in middle school, I mean, like you have much more help in middle school. And like if you're like, say if you're like going down the wrong path middle school, there'll be people to guide you back in the right path. But more so in high school, there's people not going to really be there for you. Because by the time you're in high school, by your senior year, you're going to be 18, you're going to be an adult. So people aren't going to be really like on top of you. And whatever you do, that's going to dictate like basically how you do, like what you do after high school and stuff like that. So you just got to stay on top of what you do and always do the good thing for the right thing.
And is there anybody else that wanted to pop in? You guys don't have to if you don't want to. Anybody else want to pop in on that question before we move on?
I think there's just a lot more like kids at the high school because you have 3 middle schools all funneling into one. So it was like a lot more, like it's almost like 2,000 kids, I think. So it's a bit of like a culture shock if you're used to like a smaller amount of students.
Yeah, don't be the slow person in the hallway. Don't be that guy.
What happens to the slow person, Charles?
They annoy me and I end up walking behind them.
Are you the person stepping on the back of people's feet?
Maybe middle school, not anymore.
Actually, the lead on that, yeah, don't be the slow one in the hallways because the amount of you'll be late to class. I promise you.
Also, please don't stand in the middle of the hallways.
Ugh.
Well, what happens when you do that?
It's just people are getting in the way and you're trying to get the class and all, and like you don't want to be the person that's just like blocking everyone's path to their classes, and it can be an annoyance. So you just want to be respectful of other people that way.
Yeah, and you're probably gonna get pushed. So
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you don't want to get glared at, pushed, or all of the above, don't stand in the middle of the hallway.
So Haja, let's clarify so we won't scare people. They're not getting pushed on purpose. It's kind of by accident, right?
I hope so.
Okay.
No, I play football. So I'm going right for the contact.
All right, guys, they're joking. They're just trying to scare y'all. Nobody's pushing you in the hallway, but those halls are tight. And, me as a teacher, obviously I move a little bit slower than you guys. I try to make sure I move to the side of the hallway because it's real quick. So, so just make sure that you pay attention to that. And I'm going to ask a random question that's not on the list here since you guys are talking about moving around in the hallways, because our building is huge and there are like 3 floors and 2 buildings. Like, what is the best advice that you guys have to learn how to maneuver through the building?
Follow the stairwells, because if you find out which classroom is closest to a stairwell, it's kind of easier to get there, I would say.
Also, if you learn the numbers, like if you learn your like classroom number is like 204, since the 2 is at the start, you're going to be on the 2nd floor, and like 1 you're going to be on the 1st floor, and 3 you're going to be on the 3rd floor. So that's just an easy way to decipher that quickly. And then after that, if you're having trouble finding your room number, there are like plaques on the wall that show you like these rooms are this way or these rooms are the other way. And other than that, you can always ask a teacher just like what direction it is in.
Yeah. And not even only that, like just like for a more like better way, just look at friends and stuff like, oh yeah, I remember that person from my class, and try to like, oh yeah, I'm gonna follow them, or I'm gonna make friends with them. And they'll be like, oh yeah, like the next class and everything,
I just establish a pattern. Like I just remember what way to go, so then I don't get lost, even though I still get lost if the teacher makes me go to like a different class.
Listen, I might be a simpleton. They didn't mention it, but I just remember the colors of the lockers. That's all I do. Like for example, on the 3rd floor, all the green lockers, they're pretty much like English teachers. So anytime I have an English teacher and I see a 3 as the first number in their for their room, I know where I'm going. So typically I just remember the color of lockers, but that might be a dumb way to navigate. I don't know.
I don't know, James. That sounds pretty good to me. looking at those colors. One last comment about maneuvering around the building. Anybody? All right, so it sounds like they gave you guys the best tip. So once you get there, you'll kind of figure out your way. And again, if you have any questions for the panel, you guys can look at that little Q&A box at the bottom. And I think you might even be able to click anonymously if you want to. So you can go ahead and do that. So we have a question for Haja and Yin about, transitioning to the high school and the importance of extracurricular activities. So can you guys give us your best advice in regards to transitioning to high school, or even why extracurricular activities are important? What are extracurricular activities? What are the benefits of those? So any or all of those. So for Haja and Yin, what advice do you guys have?
I will go first for now. Well, kind of like what we were saying earlier about being in hallways and stuff, I'd say a good piece of advice is just be in your own zone. It benefits yourself and it also benefits other, because I don't know, when you mind your business, it's like a different type of feeling than being involved in so many other things emotionally or mentally wise. It really doesn't matter. Second thing I would say is taking your honors classes. I'm pretty sure they kind of made some of you guys sign up for like AP classes for block scheduling and all that. And if you can handle it, I would like to say, if you can handle it, then take it, because going at a fast pace is easy, but catching up to it might be difficult. So really the more important thing about these classes is to help you balance your schoolwork instead of focus on the difficulty of it, because it really is an accelerated lesson program. It's not that much different. It's depending on the speed, really. And then last thing for me is stock up on a lot of pencils. You're gonna lose them consistently throughout the year. And yeah, that's it for me.
Yeah, for me, I'd say my advice is kind of the same as Haja's. Just go at your own pace. Don't try to overstress yourself. It's great to always challenge, but at the same time, you have to worry about other things. Don't always make school like the top priority. You want to also balance your life as well as school. I'd also say don't be scared of transitioning from middle school to high school. It's high school allows you to have new energy, more people, more interesting and curricular activities. Thus, to the main point of extracurricular activities. The main clubs that I'm in are newspaper and the class of 2021, which I'm also in with Haja.
Oh yeah, I think there's an opportunity for a lot of your grade to get involved with your certain classes. So class of 2021 basically lets us not plan graduation, plan our proms, our junior prom and senior prom, which you guys will hopefully have. I'm also part of the drama club choir and the young scholars, as like I'm in a lot of clubs, I'm not gonna lie, and those are like the main three I am involved with. I think the Young Scholars is about to close soon. Not your fault, guys, I promise. It's not your fault. But yeah. And then National Honor Society, which will be offered to you guys in your 10th grade year, but you don't have to worry about that yet.
And what are like the most why are extracurricular activities important? And that's anybody.
Yeah, and you want to answer that first?
Well, for one thing, it helps with your sociability and able to talk with new people and also learn and gain new experiences. A second thing is that colleges definitely look at your extracurricular activities. I'd say if you're really interested in a club, is try to run for like a high position. Like for me, for the newspaper, I'm the editor-in-chief. Like I'm doing the majority of the things in the newspaper. And for the class of 2021, I'm the vice president. So although it does take a lot of time, it's really enjoyable. And yeah, that's mainly for me.
Okay, well, I was looking in the chat. I was gearing to answer the questions, but it looks like students already answered them. So you guys also can look in the chat and look at other, I'm sorry, in the Q&A section and look at other questions that people have asked and answered. So you guys, Yen and Haja, thank you for those answers to the extracurriculars, and I'm sure that will pop up again. So now we want to talk to Jessica and Beatrice about SATs and like leading clubs. Jessica is like club activities central, involved in a lot of activities, and Beatrice is as well. And so two of the highlights that we wanted to highlight Jessica and Beatrice. Jessica got a perfect score on the math section of the SAT. So we can do a clap for that. And a near perfect score on the verbal section of the SAT. So she's probably going to talk to you guys about whatever secret she had to get that done. And then Miss Beatrice did extremely well on the test. And Miss Beatrice got a full ride scholarship to Princeton University. So she's paying no tuition, which means that's the money you pay for your classes, no room and board, which that's where you live and where you eat. And she also gets some other monies from the school. So if you guys can talk to them about SATs, leading clubs, and anything important that they should know about that as middle school students.
I would say before like we start talking about the SAT, I think we need to bring up like the PSAT and how like that should kind of be where you guys set your eyes on first. So I believe Norristown still does it this way. They offer the PSAT in 10th and 11th grade as something you can take for free. And it's just kind of like a prep version of the SAT. I think if you do well on it, you can qualify for scholarships. But it's just kind of like to sort of see how you would do on like a standardized test and prep for the SAT because that's such an important test. So I would definitely recommend taking that in 10th grade and any other like testing opportunities that the school gives you. If Beatrice had anything else to say about that.
Yeah, pretty much what she said. Like once you're in 10th grade, definitely take the PSAT just because it's a great way to gauge like what your strengths and weaknesses are. So you're not too focused on something that you already know how to do and you kind of just like improve on like what will help you get like a higher score.
For the SAT, we had our English teacher, Mr. Fazzini. He actually did an after-school prep program. It was optional, but if any of your teachers do that for the SAT, which you usually take like the end of 11th grade, I would definitely recommend doing that because I think that I know Beatrice and I both went to that, and that was really helpful. And I think a few other kids here did too. So he kind of, because otherwise you wouldn't really get any prep, especially free prep. You can buy like very expensive books, but I would not recommend doing that when there's so much free stuff available. Also, Khan Academy is something, I don't know if you guys are using that in middle school right now. I did use it a lot, but that's something really good. They have a whole SAT section, and that was something that I really chugged on over the summer, the COVID summer, and really helped me do well on the test in October.
Yeah, I think if you take either the PSAT or like one SAT, you can connect like your scores through the college board and connect them directly to Khan, and like they will help you on like specific areas that you need improvement on. And then I guess like regarding how we decided whether or not we need to take the SATs or ACTs, I know ACT is more like geared towards like science and math. So if you're thinking of like majoring in like STEM fields, I would definitely take the ACT. But I know a lot of schools are going test optional, especially after the virus. But I would still recommend taking the test because they are needed for like scholarships, merit scholarships. So you definitely still should take the test.
So Beatrice, can you tell them what I forgot the two words. It was two words that you said that what STEM means?
Yeah, so STEM stands for like science, technology, engineering, and math. So like any major that is related to like those things like science, technology, engineering, and math.
Okay, and is there anybody else on the panel real quickly that wants to throw in any information or advice about SATs, ACTs real quick?
Personally, I think Beatrice did too, but I took both tests, and while that's not like a popular option, I would definitely consider it if you just to see, because the school can sometimes offer fee waivers. So if you get a chance to take the test for free, I would definitely take it. It's really just takes out one day, and then you can get free prep beforehand for the ACT through their website. So I would honestly consider like taking both, seeing which one you do better in, and then if you want to improve your score, then focusing on one of them.
And what about leading clubs and activities? Because you guys are kind of in charge of a lot of stuff. So how do you balance that, or how do you get the courage to do that, especially as an incoming freshman?
I think if there's a club that like really interests you, I would say like join as soon as you can, just so that you familiarize yourself with the person who is in charge of the club and also with like other students there, because you guys will have similar like interests. As for like going for leadership positions, something that I always think about whenever I make like a big decision is whether or not like I'll regret it. So like if say like you run for like to be president of a club, the worst that could happen is you don't get it, and you don't necessarily lose anything. So I just think of like what you could gain from it, and then I kind of just gauge whether or not I'll actually do something.
All right. Well, thank you guys for giving that information. And I want to ask a question that's very, very important. And it's probably the most important question that we're going to ask all night. And so if the panel can real quickly everybody give me something real quick. What is the best food in the cafeteria? Quick.
I'll
Backline.
no, go ahead.
Oh, I just said the snack line.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm gonna be honest. It was a lot of stuff that was actually pretty good. Sometimes the pizza's good, the burgers, the chicken sandwiches. I was always hungry at lunch, so I ate whatever. But I mean, the snack line is always the best. They got everything in there.
Yeah, so 9 times out of 10, you're gonna go there as a freshman and be like, yo, this food is corny. But like as you become like a senior and everything, it's gonna like you're gonna used to it. So everything becomes good at that point. But you're probably gonna sway more towards a salad or a pizza, because that's kind of the best stuff.
And if you're an athlete, I would definitely like get some friends that don't eat their lunch and eat their lunch too, because you don't need it.
Oh yeah, I had like 3. Yeah.
I was gonna say the salad line. If you don't want to go to the snack line, prefer the salad line mostly.
Oh,
You
the
just
salad line is hitting. Love the salad.
Yes, especially with the pizza line right next to it. You get to see. I think there's one of the pizzas that were really good, but I haven't touched it in a while. I forgot.
Anybody else a favorite food before we move on to the next thing in the cafeteria?
This might be unpopular, but I bring my own food.
I was just gonna say, yeah, I recently did, but if I had to pick something from lunch, it'd definitely be definitely the Thanksgiving food.
Okay. All right. All
Oh,
right.
yeah, that
Oh,
Thanksgiving,
yeah.
that
Oh,
Thanksgiving
yeah.
food. Yeah, that Thanksgiving food.
Not that good.
That's a smart man.
It must be good because Gabe flipped his camera. I need to try it. I haven't had it. I don't know why. I've been there for 16 years and never had it. So I'll make sure I get it. All right. So Gabe and James, give us some tips about financial aid. Mostly Gabe. Like Gabe, you know, we talked a lot about financial aid packages from schools, and you know, a couple people may be able to jump in. Look, he's putting his hands together. He's getting ready to say something really deep and really profound. Can you give people some tips about financial aid and paying for college?
So honestly, like the financial aid. So depending on the schools you apply to, there's different types of schools. You can apply for private, public. The private schools, they'll give you a lot of money and merit scholarships. You have good grades, but they're still very expensive. The public schools on the other side, they might not give you as many scholarships, but their schools are on the cheaper side, especially there's like 14 state schools like Kutztown, I think is one of them, East Stroudsburg, schools like that. You can all and like I would just say this now, like some people make Mako like a bad option, but Mako is a very great option in my opinion, especially if you don't want to be in big debt when you're older. Mako is a very great option, and also, if you have a job or if you get a job in high school, I would honestly save money for when you go to school. So you don't because you're going to want extra money when you go up there to spend, eat out with friends. It's going to be a lot of things to do in college. And also, I will apply for many scholarships as you can. I'll apply as soon as you become a freshman. And also, if you're like good at sports, use that to your advantage as well, because sometimes they'll give you like scholarships and stuff like that as well.
And Gabe said something about merit scholarships. And so merit scholarships, those are scholarships that you get from a college, and it's based off of your grades, your test scores, and your extracurricular activities. And so that's one of the main reasons why we wanted to talk to you guys today, so that you can really start thinking about that, because as soon as you start ninth grade, colleges will go all the way back to ninth grade and look at your records. And so the best selection of classes that you can get early on, it will increase the amount of money that you can get in merit scholarships and other scholarships. And so Gabe said something really important about saving money. So James has a really interesting angle, and it's something that students are starting to do more and more right now to save money. So James is going into the National Guard. So James, can you talk about that?
Okay, so yes, I'm in the National Guard. One of the benefits you get from joining, and I think it's the main, I think it's the thing they advertise the most, is definitely the paid tuition that you get from being with them. So not every school. Just want to get that out of the way, because a lot of people think, oh, if I join the National Guard, they'll pay off my tuition and debt from going to some private school like Drexel or something like that. No, it's for state schools only, and it's within the state of Pennsylvania, or whatever state you decide to join the National Guard in. So for example, I've been trying to apply at Westchester, and that's one of the schools that is within the list that they will pay full tuition for. Kutztown's another one. Millersville's another one. Montgo, obviously. There's plenty of schools. So as long as it's a state school within the state of Pennsylvania, they will pay full tuition. And if you do decide to go to, let's say, a private school, they won't necessarily pay full tuition. They'll pay a portion of another school's tuition. So Kutztown, for example, if you want to apply to Villanova or Drexel or of the sort, they'll pay off whatever it would take to go to Westchester, Kutztown, and put that into the tuition. And depending on how well you score on the ASVAB, which is the test that is required in order to actually get into the military, if you score a 50 or above, you will get benefits where they will give you more money, essentially. So you get a $20,000 bonus, which I plan to actually invest in an apartment outside of college because I don't want to live on campus. I've been talking to a few people that have gone to Westchester, and they said that it's definitely a better option to live in an apartment off campus just because cost and convenience. Um, I don't want to. I don't want to tell people to join the Guard just for that because a lot of people, and that's the one issue I have with recruiters, is when they try to sell this idea of paying off college tuition with the National Guard. Um, it's not for everyone. So don't go into the National Guard thinking, oh, this is such a great idea. It's not for everyone because it's not as simple as just joining and then boom. You have to go through basic, you have to go through AIT, which is actually another great benefit that comes along with the National Guard that can actually help you through college. So I just want to say that because there's a lot of things they leave out. But it is a great option if you are interested in the military and you don't feel like, being shipped out to another country without your say. It's nice that you are obligated to stay within the state. And it's only part-time as well. So you're getting paid full-time for only part-time work. And yeah, I mean, I think it's a great option just, for anyone who doesn't, for anyone who wants to go on a less, how do I put it, traditional way of paying off their college tuition. And it's also a great option if you don't even want to go to college. They do pay off for trade. They pay for trade school entirely as well. And, if you want to go into the military as your career, it's a great option because they offer a lot of jobs. So that's my say in the National.
And James, I'm glad that you said something about, different options of what people want to do when they graduate. And that's the next topic we want to go into. But before we go into that, is there anybody else? Because some of you guys in middle school are probably like, why are they talking to us about financial aid right now? And it's really important that you think about that because it has to get paid some kind of way, right? And so, I'm sure that there are some parents on here tonight because even though it says we have 26 attendees, when I'm looking at the registration form, I know there's 3 and 4 people actually on each of these lines. And so it's very important that parents and students really start having conversations about money like now. So I know if you ask your mom or your parents or your grandma, how much money do you make? They're probably going to tell you to mind your business and go back to your room, right? Ha's just shaking her head. But parents, when you do fill out those financial aid papers and the students in here, give me the thumbs up. When you look into your financial aid application, can you see your parents' income on the application? Raise your hand. When you look at your FAFSA application, the parent income is on there. So the ones who didn't raise their hand, maybe they didn't see it, but it's on there. So they're going to see it. And so it's really important because you don't want to have these conversations at the very, very end and find out that you can't afford them. So does anybody else have any comments or advice about financial aid, about why middle school students should start thinking about that now? Whether it's for the students or their parents that are listening.
Well, I will speak for the students. Like Ms. Mitchell said, my parents were kind of like, mind your business. You don't need to know. But they were not going to be the ones who were to fill out my financial aid. So if you are going to do it by yourself, at least ask your parents about where they keep their documents. And if they don't want to tell you, you can also contact the IRS and they will mail you the documents that you need in order to fill it out. Yeah, one of my cousins had an issue doing all that.
You're
So
trying to involve the IRS. We're gonna have to watch you. I'm gonna have to hide my stuff in the office.
You need the money. You need the money, so get as much as the information as you need. It is very easy to search for the information because the application does tell you where to look and how to look, and that's it. So as long as you're filling it out by yourself, it won't be hard. You can read.
Okay, we're gonna have to watch our information around Hodges. You know, it's a little identity theft going on here. Anybody else, any advice about financial aid before we move on to the next topic? I know that somebody wanted to know in the chat Beatrice, how Beatrice got that money for the full ride. So you can just talk about it very super simple. There's a big scholarship that she applied to. It's a long process. So in maybe 60 seconds or less, you can tell them about how you got all that money, Miss Beatrice.
Yeah, so it's this program called QuestBridge. So it's actually a program for juniors and seniors. The junior one is a bit different, but they do give you like small scholarships for technology. The one that I applied to was QuestBridge for seniors. And basically I I started applying in August, and I think it's due sometime in the middle of September. So it happens like really quickly. So if you are thinking of doing that, you definitely should start or look into it as soon as you can, because it's like super time consuming. So you had to apply, and then I think it was like a first round type of thing. So they looked at applications, and then they chose a portion of those students, and then you continue to need another application where you like chose like your schools. And basically what they do is they have you rank certain schools, and they have
I don't know if we can.
You're muted.
Hey, Beatrice, we can't hear you. Yeah, she kind of tapped out for a minute. All right, we'll come back to you. Kind of tapped out for a minute. So we're going to remind one of the students, remind us to answer that question again. All right, so now we want to talk about other options, because four-year college is not for everyone. So all of you guys are going to have different paths when you graduate from high school. Some of you guys are going to start working right after high school, meaning you may have a family business that you're going to get involved in, or you may have a job in high school and you're not planning on going to college, which is fine if that's your choice. And so, you know, you want to work, but what you definitely want to do is to make sure that you do some type of education after you graduate from high school, because the more education you get, the more money. So some of you guys may do a 1-year program where you get a certificate so that you can get a job that requires that 1-year certificate. Some of you may go to school for 2 years and get go to trade school. You may go to cosmetology school. You may go to school to become an electrician, a barber, going for auto body. Because if you are really good at what you do, people are going to be coming to you. Some of you may be thinking about getting a 2-year degree at a 2-year associate's degree at a community college, because again, there are many careers that you can get a 2-year degree at community college and you can make a great living for your family. And of course, you can look at the 4-year route, which is called a bachelor's degree. And then some people go beyond. So sometimes you may hear somebody's a doctor, but they're not like a surgeon. It just means that they went to school another 4 to 10 years after they graduated from 4-year college. So we have Miss Angelica, and some other people can help her out. Wants to talk to you guys about college options. One of the things that Angelica did, she and I had lots of different conversations because she had a nice little list, and she got accepted to a couple of different schools. And one week she was really into this school, then she found out some other things and she did some research. And I really liked the great job that she did in really trying to figure out where she wanted to go. So Angelica, can you talk to students about, you know, how to kind of figure out, you know, which way to go?
Yeah, so what I recommend doing is building a list of colleges that you like and that you're interested in, and then just do research on those colleges and see what they offer for what you want to go to. So what I did, since I'm a marketing major, I just looked into different colleges and see what type of programs they offered, how well are their programs. And I also took into consideration like the cost of attendance, if I'm going to be living on campus or off campus. And one thing to keep in mind when you're choosing the college you want to go to, Ms. Mitchell actually told me this, you should really visit the college that you want to go to, because it'll definitely change your mind by a lot. So yeah.
You know, and so without saying the name, there was one school that Angelica really wanted to go to. And she had a lot of conversations with them and she talked to them, and the price was right too.
Mhm.
And she went to visit the campus, and it was okay. It was
Yeah.
okay. And then there was another school that I think was second on her list. And she went to go visit the school, and I'm sure she emailed me in the car, Miss Mitchell, this is it. This is where I'm going. You know, so it's about that vibe, right?
Mhm.
And so, you know, I want to throw this out to the whole panel to kind of help the students out with, you know, do you have to be smart to go to college? You know, are all colleges the same? You know, what are some factors that you're thinking about if you're thinking about going to college? So any of those things, is there anybody that wants to jump in?
I don't
I would say
personally.
no because
Yeah.
I'm going. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead,
You
James.
go.
Go ahead, James.
So yeah,
Go ahead. We didn't hear you. It muted
I,
out.
I said I said you don't have to be smart to go to college. For two reasons. Not all majors have the same difficulty level, and second, because I'm also trying to apply. So there you go. I'm your motivation.
Well, first of all, you're smart. But second of all, what is a major?
Basically, the subject or topic that you are or field you're going to study in. So, for example, my planned major or is going to be computer science, and that involves a whole bunch of stuff like algorithms and theories, the how computers work and think and stuff like that. But then you also have what a lot of people, and it's also it's kind of made as a joke now that communications, for example, uh, I hear is not a hard major. I don't know because I don't know much about that major, but there's and like let's say you want to go to be a doctor or a lawyer, that's definitely much harder than let's say if you wanted to go to college and study how to be a teacher. Not to diss anyone who wants to be a teacher, but not everything is at the same difficulty level. And so I that's where I think you don't really need to worry about being smart. And I'm pretty sure most of you are smart anyway, so I wouldn't worry about it.
Did James say teachers aren't smart? I'm just joking with you, James. You know I had to mess with you. I know what you meant. Um, so are all colleges the same?
No, definitely not. That's that's a fun thought, but no, it really just depends on you. All the colleges are different in my opinion. You just have to find the one that like caters to what you want for yourself. So it really depends on you and not on the college for where you want to do or what you want to do.
Mhm.
Now you can make a choice for your major as long as you want. So it choose your path.
All right, well, we have our last question before we go into our question and answer period. So we actually might end a little bit early. So the last question is for Charles and Elijah. And we have them here, one, because they're very fabulous and they came highly recommended. But two, Charles and Elijah are some experts in some areas. And so Charles is in the Teacher Academy, which is through the tech school. And so, you know, you can learn about education and becoming a teacher. So he's going to talk to you guys a little bit about that. And then Elijah participated in something called Instant Decision Day, which a number of people on this panel participated in. But if I could give somebody a crown for being the Instant Decision Day king and or queen, it would definitely be Elijah, because he was there the most. So we'll have Elijah go first. Can you talk about Instant Decision Day? Like, what is it and how it benefits a student?
Yeah, definitely. And I wouldn't call myself an expert, but thank you. I would
You
say
are the expert, honey.
I would kind of say I just took advantage of my opportunity. Like I just heard like instant decision, boom, do it. And at first it was just like, all right, I'll sign up, boom, you know. But then like my first one, it was just okay, like they tell you exactly like that event and there, oh yeah, you're accepted. Or you just so first you have to come dressed up and everything. You have to come to impress them. You have to make like you're basically selling yourself. So this isn't exactly what it sounds like. You're selling yourself to a college just to get accepted. So yeah, that's kind of what it is. Maybe no, go ahead.
And I'm not quite sure if we said this, but Instant Decision Day, every school does not have them. So colleges, maybe about 15 or 20 colleges, I meant to say this at the beginning, come to our school and actually interview students on the spot. So a lot of schools don't even interview students at all. So you get interviewed by an admissions rep, the person who really is going to look at your application, and you'll find out on the spot, you know, if you are accepted or not, like Elijah said. So Elijah, you can go ahead and add some more.
Yeah, and it's kind of like a head start to get you connected to college right then and there. It's like you're talking to the admission, so it's just like you can get their email, you can get like it's just right there, and they already know you now. They see your face and everything, so it's kind of just given to you. And for some people, they give out money, and it's just a head start.
Mm-hmm. And so Elijah went, we have about 15 to 20 schools, and Elijah went to the majority of them. So he was a pro. He had his different outfits on, and he would say, you know, hi to the person and how's your day and all kinds of stuff, just buttering them up before they even got started, you know? So he really did a great job with those. And so Charles was involved in Teacher Academy. And so that is through the tech school where you can learn how to become a teacher. So Charles, can you talk about the process and what you guys are able to do? I know that it was hard for you guys to do it during COVID, but just talk about that.
Yeah, so Teacher Academy is at the tech school, and it's only for seniors, but you basically, as Miss Mitchell said, you get to learn how to be a teacher, and that's through multiple things. You have an English course portion of it, you have an art portion, and you have like a theory and field work portion, and you have internships. But all of these, even though I say English, it's not typical English. It's revolving around the aspects of being a teacher. So you go through all these types of courses, and you have like different days that you focus on each thing, and you go through that process. And especially like the two things that are focused on the most are the English portion and the internships. And the English portion is all writing about, you know, inspiration to becoming a teacher, or what would your teaching philosophy be, or stuff like that. And then when you learn you learn that type of stuff, like your teaching philosophy, through your internships, which are 3 select periods of time where you go out into the actual field and you observe and help and even sometimes teach classrooms. And you teach an elementary school, a middle school, and then a third of your choice, which mine was a high school. So you get to learn a lot through those types of experiences. And through those experiences, you get to apply it to your other work within the program.
Yeah, so thank you for
That's
that.
about all.
Okay, and so at the tech school, you know, that's a new program. It's about 3 years old. And so you can also look at some options at the tech school because they have a lot of labs there. You can go there for cosmetology. You can go there for networking. You can go there for visual arts. They even have a video production studio there. They have early childhood, culinary, landscaping, all types of fields. And so you have many options there. You can either start working right after high school. You can get that 1-year certificate that we talked about, a 2-year associate's degree or certificate, or a 4-year program. And so I just want to ask you guys on the panel real quickly, and also just make sure that you go into the chat and check out any questions that are in there. There's some information in there about the National Guard and some other stuff. So if you guys can give them your best advice on how to pick a career, like how did you guys pick your major or what you want to go into for when you grow up?
So I can lead on that. I feel as though me going into psychology was kind of me finding myself at like later on in my high school career, because I originally wanted to go into business because I always thought like, I don't want to work for anybody. I want to work for myself, you know? But like as time went on, it was like, and I still had that mindset, but as time went on, it was just like psychology, like I just like reading people. I just like the whole aspect behind psychology and just the human mind. I just wanted to, I guess, read that more and like go into that, you know?
Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
I feel as like that I'm going into engineering. I always like excelled in like math and science, those areas of studies. And I actually took a lot of engineering classes at Norristown. I would take those as well if you plan on doing something with technology in the future. And technology is also a growing industry, and engineering, everyone needs engineers. So also, like an engineer, you can do so much with that. And depending on your interest, you can major in different type of engineering. Right now, I'm undecided, but I'm planning on either doing computer engineering, electrical, or maybe even mechanical. And you can do so many different things with that as well.
I would say, for me, the best way to find a career option would be to find almost an inspiration. Like for me, because I wanted to go into teaching, my inspiration was a person, and it doesn't have to be a person specifically. It could be like a moment in your life or something about that piques your interest, and maybe just looking into that could further along that process instead of just being like, oh, I'll think about it later. No, you really want to like almost pounce on that inspiration right now and see where it goes from there.
I changed my mind a lot, so much so that I feel like I should go into school undecided. But when you can like force yourself into a certain decision that does benefit you, then I would advise that. Because when I was younger, I was telling everyone, like, I want to be a congresswoman, all up in politics and everything. And now I look at politics and I'm like, don't want that. I do not want that. And then I also used to look at like graphic design and art and stuff. And now I'm like currently sticking to accounting and business, and may or may not be trying to switch to like whatever. Because they say if you take a personality test, it might help you change your decision. And I did, but it did not change my decision, but it made me reconsider it. So if you can make yourself to stick to one place that you feel comfortable into, do that.
And before anybody else says anything, I know that the middle school students and high school students have been working in the Smart Futures app on your eSchool account in the class link. And so you can go into Smart Futures and start playing around in there and taking some personality tests, like Haja said, to see what interests you, some skills tests to see what skills you're best at, to match some careers, to see, you know, what you want to do, and to also see what level of school you want to go into after you get out of high school. So did anybody else want to jump into that career question before we close out with any questions and answers?
To bounce off everyone else's question, I agree that you should stick to one thing that interests you, but I also think that it's best for you to broaden your horizons and also try like new things that seem interesting to you, even though you might not think that you'll do well in it. Because for me, I'm planning on doing engineering, but I also have like a really big interest in like philosophy. So I also plan on taking courses that are philosophy based during college. So just try to like stick to one, but know like you can always try other things.
I'll add on to that. If you really want to find something you're interested in, because that is the biggest thing, is you know, a lot of people do go into college not knowing what they want to do, or even in high school. Like really, throughout my entire high school years, I switched up a lot. I wanted to go into architecture. Then I wanted to do like, well, I guess civil engineering is the same thing, but then I wanted to do, you know, computer science, and then I switched back to wanting to be an architect. And then I said, no, you know what? I just want to go in the Air Force. I don't want to go to college. And then what kind of helped me figure out what I was interested in is whatever your interest, like for me, what helped me figure out what I wanted to major in college was definitely what I was already interested in now. So that, for example, was building computers, video games, stuff like that. Just little things that you already do at home could actually play a big role into what you want to do later in life. And that could be sports, for example. You like playing with football outside? Maybe that's something to consider. Go to you know, going into high school, play a sport. You might be good at it. You might get some scholarships. Just little things like that.
Before you guys go in, I know you've been answering these questions quickly in the chat. It's a really good question there. It says that these questions and answers help me a lot to prepare for my freshman year, but I'm still kind of nervous. So can you guys give this student some really good advice about being nervous? Because everybody's nervous about coming to high school. I don't care how tall you are or how many brothers and sisters you have there. So what advice can you guys give?
Freshman year, you guys are going to have an orientation before anybody else comes into the school. So at least if you're scared about like navigating anywhere or not knowing where you're going to go or anything about the school itself, you should be able to get that part down before any of the other upperclassmen come into the school. And anything about like if you're terrified of or scared of upperclassmen, for example, most of the time they just don't care. Like I would say, like being an upperclassman myself, I just go about my day and I don't really want to involve myself with anybody else besides my friends. So if you're ever worried about other people like that, they wouldn't it's basically like as long as you don't bother them, they won't bother you.
Yeah, it's kind of more of a keep to yourself kind of thing instead of involve yourself everywhere. You can do that, not gonna dissuade you from that. But yeah, being nervous is a natural reaction. I'm not gonna lie, you can be. You'll probably make friends naturally in your environment because that always happens, regardless of where you go at your first job or at high school, and that's it.
So I would say just the transition from middle school to high school, a lot of people aren't really going to like in middle school, you get constant validation, like it's just boom, you get a lot of help. But I would say to succeed in high school, you'd have to just volunteer schoolwork, and mental health is definitely a big thing. So if you want to succeed in high school, I would say just get your mental health in order and keep it in check, and yeah, and you should be fine.
All right, so that was some great advice. So we're going to close out. And what we're going to do is ask each of you to give your best words of advice for middle school students to best transition to high school. Or if you have your own random piece of advice that you want to throw in there. So everybody real quick, go through and give your best advice.
I would say don't take high school as a joke. Like actually take it serious and focus on your grades.
I would say know your limits. You know, you don't want to overpower yourself with certain type of classes you take. Just know what you're able to achieve, and if you're able to improve on that, keep on moving forward, but don't put too much work on the table right away.
Yeah, I would say something similar. Just don't, like, there's so many opportunities at Norristown, like way more than probably even imagine right now. So I would say don't get overcommitted, but also don't be afraid to step outside of your comfort zone, and don't just like do something because other people don't see it as cool.
My advice would be, in middle school, some people are the big man on campus. Don't come to high school thinking you're going to be the big man on campus. That's going to put you right in the bad spot right away, right in the bad spot. And then another thing would be your GPA. Focus on that. And if you don't know what that is, grade point average, get with your counselor. They're going to tell you all about it right away.
Only advice I got really give is just make sure to stay on top of your grades and just enjoy yourself. Like, go to the homecomings, go to the proms, go to the pep rallies, go to the events. That's like what a high school experience is about. You just don't want to be like just stay in the house all the time, because then you're gonna go be in college and you're gonna look back and like, yo, like I really should have went. I should really did a lot of things in high school, because in college, I mean, it's all business up there. It's about like that's really where you're going like, oh yeah, I really got focused up. In high school, you can still enjoy yourself a little bit to an extent, but do all that extra stuff that you want to do.
Build better habits for yourself. If you have iffy habits now, change that in high school. It might be easier to do so. And then please support your other clubs, because they love to do so many cool things, but nobody goes because they think it's not cool, when it could be. It could be.
I'd say definitely try to be as friendly with your teachers as possible. I think the teachers at the high school are definitely a very underrated group. And also don't force yourself to do things because it's similar to because it might not be cool. Don't force yourself to do things because someone asked you to. There's been plenty of times where someone has asked me to join a certain club because they're like, oh, it'd be so fun, dude. Come on, I'm in it. It's like, I'm not really interested in it. And so that can get in the way, and don't be afraid to say no if you're uncomfortable. So yeah.
And yeah, just going off of that, like saying no. A lot of people, like when you're in high school, probably gonna be skipping classes and doing stuff like that. I'm gonna tell you right now, do not do that. That's probably the worst thing you could do. Like the worst thing, because I know people that skip class and now they miss the test and now they miss, and now they're behind. Don't do that. That's the worst thing you could do.
I was gonna say just take classes that interest you. You don't have to take classes that give more credentials unless you want to. Just take the classes that that you wish to take, and yeah. Also, don't going off what everyone else said. Make sure to know your place. Like, don't be too out there and like do things that might end up backfiring in the future.
Okay, was that everybody? Everybody give their 10 cents?
I just wanted to add, kind of just like going off what Jess said, like definitely try to get out of your comfort zone, because there may be like a lot of things that perhaps like you didn't really have an interest in before, but after you try them, like it's like just like a new interest of yours. So definitely try as many different things, just to see if you actually like them or not.
All right, so that sounded like some really great advice and a nice place to end. And so you guys asked a lot of amazing questions in the chat. There were over 45 questions that our expert panel answered for you. And I forgot to introduce, and she can just wave, Miss Sai. She's my intern this year. She's gonna be with me for like 2 more weeks and I'm gonna cry. I've been with her every day on all day Mondays and Fridays all year long. During the quarantine. And so I just want to thank the panel for your fabulous job here. This has been a very difficult year for seniors. You know, we thought it was going to be hard for the class of 2020, but the class of 2021, you guys are troopers. And the fact that you were able to get through this year the way that you have and still be able to give back to the middle schools and reminisce about everything in high school and give them this great advice. We just want to just give you guys a virtual hand clap. I don't know if they can give their hands and all that kind of stuff on there. So we just want to thank you guys because some of them are doing their homework right now or playing Fortnite. I don't know what they're doing while they're sitting there on the side there. So just thank you guys so much. And middle school guys, if you have any questions at all, I'm just going to share my screen real quick and just give you guys some final information. And then we're going to close out. I know we missed some people here. We had a little survey here. So if you could, we don't have a chat, but if you could fill out our little survey about our presentation tonight. So just screenshot that and I'll try to make sure that I email it to everybody. So screenshot that real quick. I'm gonna go to the next screen. Hope you got it, hope you got it, hope you got it. So it's bit.ly/NAHS panel survey. And then if you need to get in contact with me, here's my information. If there are any parents on here, if you want to make an appointment, yes, in middle school to sit and chat, feel free. You pay taxes, hit me up. We can sit and talk. All right, so just hit that link.tree/NAHS College and Career. If you can take a picture of that. And my link to set an appointment with me is there. All right. So thank you guys so much. We ended 10 minutes early. And we had more guests than we had panelists. So thank you guys so much. And we hope you guys have a great night. And we'll see you in Norristown next year.